Okay, everybody, let's review what happened in the S&P 500 futures today. This is a little bit after close, about 4:07, September 16th. Today is Thursday, 2021, September 16th. Upper left-hand corner, you can see this E-mini futures, S&P 500 futures. I trade the E-micro just for the record. If by now, guys, middle of the screen, upper part of the screen, if by now you can't figure out that this pullback is not your typical pullback, I don't know what to tell you. Just look at those previous pullbacks. 2 candlesticks back there on the middle of August. The one in July was, 3 candlesticks, maybe 5 at the most. The one back there in June was 4 candlesticks, 3 of them red. Not this pullback. It's a different beast altogether. Everything about it is different. Look at all the previous ones. Come down for 2-3 days, go right back up. Come down for 2-3 days, maybe 4 days, whatever at the most, come back up. Not this one. Down, sideways. Stick with me a little bit into the video. I'll tell you whether or not I made any profit loss today. I'm also going to review the weekly chart briefly because I want to show you something that really stands out. Come down to the Stochastic Momentum Index. It's starting to cross over just a little bit. The Big Daddy forecast says we're going up. But it said that yesterday too. Wrong. We didn't go up. In fact, today we came way down, hit a resistance line, which I don't have drawn on here. But hit a resistance line. I think it got down to, 433 today. And then I think we're a little past 1 o'clock my time, Central Standard Time here in Texas. It came all the way back up. And briefly, I think it was right near the open and then closed, as you can see here, at 44.60, down about 16. The open was 44.76. At the very kind of near the bottom there, the biggest yellow rectangle, see the VIX. 1869, up from yesterday, a little bit. So guess what? I talked about this a few times already. Stay with me on the VIX on this indicator. Look at the previous spike in the VIX back in middle of August. I talked about this before. See how smooth it is going up and coming down? Then back in July, same thing. Smooth going up, smooth coming down. Even the one back there in June, which was a little ragged coming up, but was smooth coming down. Now look at the VIX today. The big yellow rectangle there at the bottom. There's nothing smooth about that VIX. Ragged going up, ragged coming down. That tells you everything you need to know about what's going on. This ain't going to be no smooth ride. And it hasn't been. Today, the candlestick closed not quite halfway down, a little above halfway down. What's going to happen tomorrow, which is the last trading day for a lot of the contracts, options, and futures, and stock indexes, and stock options, tomorrow's the last trading day. What's going to happen? I don't know. But let's look over at another chart here, the weekly. I'll tell you what I think is really going to happen here. So this S&P 500, this is the weekly chart. Look at the upper right-hand corner there. You see a little small yellow circle circling the last, 3 or 4 weeks. Got one red candlestick there from last week. And this week's candlestick's a tiny little green thing. Now look to the left of that and find the nearest circle approximately the same size, back there in the middle of July. Look at those 4 weeks of red candlesticks. 4 weeks. Remember, we're looking at the weekly. That's 4 weeks of down. Look at the previous yellow to the left of that, back there, the beginning of 2020. Yeah, we know it's the COVID pandemic thing. All kinds of down. And then to the left of that, back in April of last year, June-ish. April, more like May, kind of. April, May. Again, 4 weeks of down. So what makes me think those 3 previous down are going to be anything like what's going on now? What makes me think it's going to be the same? Come to the very bottom. Talked about this indicator before, the volume oscillator at the very bottom. Go to the very bottom left where it says April. You got a yellow rectangle there. Look at that. Big old dip in the volume oscillator. And what happened soon after? 4 weeks of red candlesticks. Now come to 2020. January 2020. December 2019, January 2020. Look at that. Same thing. Got a dip in the volume oscillator and boom. Big massive price decrease. That one had a lot to do with COVID. The next one to the right of that, still staying with the volume oscillator here at the very bottom. Right in the middle. The July, August, September, whatever that is right there, looks like that was somewhere out August, September. Look at the dip in the volume oscillator. What happened? 4 weeks of down. 4 weeks. Look at the beginning, kind of like March 2021. Volume oscillator, get a dip. What happened? We got 2 weeks of down. And the third week was almost down. It was down pretty hard and ended up closed slightly above its open for the week. Now, all the way, staying with the volume oscillator, all the way to the right, look where we're at now. We got this big dip that just happened. The big dip in the volume oscillator happened just a few weeks ago. It's exactly the same as those previous ones. Exactly the same. Same in nature. Big dip. Now go all the way back up to the price. Up there it says 45.49.5. You think that's all there is to this dip? I don't. No way. I shouldn't say no way, because I don't know. I could definitely be wrong. But do I personally think the price decline is over? No. It's not over. We got more price decline coming. This ain't over. That's why I try not to get too caught up just in day-to-day candlesticks. They're important because we want to keep track of all the different time frames, daily, weekly, monthly. Look at the stochastic momentum index pointing down. Look at the Big Daddy forecast. This is weekly now, pointing down. The daily, we'll go back and look at the daily here in a moment. The daily says, oh, we're going up, but I'm going to show you something on that daily that's conflicting. The weekly says we're going down. The daily says we're kind of going up. I don't think we're going up, folks. We ain't going up. We still got more down to do. Let's go back and look at the daily just real quick here. Okay, now if you look at the stochastic momentum index, that's the blue and red line indicator. It's starting to cross over, wants to go up. Below that, the Big Daddy's telling us, go up, we're going up. Look at the VIX. That VIX ain't pointing down. Remember, if the VIX goes down, prices go up. The VIX didn't come down today. In fact, the VIX went up a little bit. Yeah, yesterday I think it was like 1840 or whatever it was. It was a little bit less yesterday. So today the volatility came up just a little bit. The VIX, and look at the VIX, it's elevated. Look at the VIX compared to back like, August 30th, the beginning of September. The VIX is dramatically elevated since that time. And it's staying elevated. So it hasn't come down. Even with yesterday's fairly big candlestick, the VIX said, nah, that's not enough. There's volatility in the air. Volatility's in the air. This is not done. And today, I refrained from trading the futures contracts for the S&P 500, the micros. I refrained from it. I could have made money on that particular product, but I refrained from it because I don't like not having confirmation. We do not have confirmation. We got mixed signal here on the daily chart. We got the weekly charts telling me this price decline is not done. I don't want to get caught out in some wacky scenario. Look at these last 3 or 4 candlesticks. This is what we call a sideways market, guys. A lot of you probably don't. Some of you, I shouldn't say a lot of you. Some of you probably don't even remember a sideways market. Because all we've been having is up for how many years now? Up, and away. Right? Some of you don't even know what a down market is. So I'm not claiming we're in some big, huge down market, but it's clear that this is not your average little pullback now. It's got a completely different look to it. Okay, did I make any money today? Did I make any money? Profit loss. There you go. What? You all must be saying, wait a minute, this ain't the S&P 500? That's right. This is the E-micro Euro dollar futures, Euro USD currency futures. The M6E December 21 contracts. Look at that beautiful red candlestick in the middle of the screen. Oh my goodness. We like those kind of candlesticks. To the right there in the yellow rectangle, you can see for the day, $575. Yeah. Happy camper. See, the S&P 500 futures is not, and the and all the tradable products around it, right? Because you got some people are trading the equity, they're not trading futures, or they're trading another derivative known as the options instead of the futures, whatever. They're not. That's not the only game in town. Just keep that in mind. There are other things that can be traded. Now, most other products, the futures products, they're not going to have as much price movement like the index futures do. So don't expect big price swings rapidly in the day on other futures products. It can happen sometimes, and it will happen, but on other futures products, crude oil, natural gas, here you see me trading the euro dollar, okay, grains and metals and all kinds of other futures products. Those type of trades are usually going to be swing trades. They're not going to be intraday trades. You're not going to do a lot of intraday trading. They're going to be swing trades from a few days to maybe even a few weeks. Okay, most future products, I'm more of a swing trader. But when I'm trading the index futures, because opportunities are so ripe, it basically makes me a day trader. But for the rest of the futures products, that's not true. It's more swing trades. Yesterday I talked about the Aussie dollar. I believe a trade's coming up for that, alongside trade. But we'll see. Not yet. But just keep that in the back of your mind, the Aussie dollar. That would be the M6A. Okay, back over to the S&P 500 real quick here on the daily chart. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I can tell you what I believe is most likely going to happen, whether it's tomorrow or Monday or Tuesday or over the short term, price decline. We may have some more green candlesticks in here. We may even come up for a couple days, whatever. Don't bank on this thing coming back up strong and going to all-time new highs. I don't think that's going to happen, at least not right in the very short term. I don't think this thing is over. I think we got more price decline. I think on the daily we got conflicting signals. The stochastic momentum index, the Big Daddy is saying up. The VIX is saying whoa, 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 not so fast. The weekly chart I showed you definitely saying we're going down. Looking at all the previous times that we had that huge volume oscillator dip, we had most of them had 4 weeks, only one of them had 2 weeks. Or actually really almost like 3 weeks with a dip. 3 weeks, not days. So you if you're looking here on the daily right now at the top, going back up to the top to finish up this video here. You look at those candlesticks in that yellow rectangle there at the top. You can see last week, with the whole doggone week was red. The whole week. When's the last time we had an entire week of red? Look at those candlesticks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red candlesticks in a row. And out of those, actually there was a total of 8 candlesticks, and seven of them were red. Remember I talked about last week and a half ago, I said we got spinning tops and dojis, and I said something's coming. This is a completely different look. Expect more than just your typical pullback. Well, lo and behold, here we are. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Out of the last 12 days, only 3 of them have been green. 9 red, 3 green. All right. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you haven't figured out by now, this is not your typical pullback. I don't know what it's going to take, because this is definitely not your typical pullback. I expect more price decline. I don't claim that's going to be that I'm going to like know exactly what every day is going to do. No, on the average over the next few days or whatever, I expect on the average price decline. That doesn't mean you won't have a day or two of up or whatever, or a green day. That's not the same thing. We're not talking about a green day and everybody goes, ooh, look, we're going to all-time new highs. Well, that hasn't happened. It could, but I don't think so. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Regardless of what happens, we trade the market. At the moment, we do not have solid confirmation that this market has turned and that this decline in price is over. We do not have that confirmation. We don't have a solid crossover. I'm not seeing, and here's the other thing too, guys. It isn't just about indicators. Okay, guys and gals, it isn't just about indicators. Because yes, I use indicators and other things. Some things I don't always talk about in videos. There's other things behind the scenes that are going on. Okay, but indicators aren't the end all be all. You know what the final end all be all is? The candlesticks themselves. They tell you prices have gone up or prices gone down. Okay, and right now we don't have prices going up. We got prices going sideways. They've come down and they're tracking sideways. That's a sign of weakness. This market looks weak. I expect more to go down. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to click that little bell to get notified of the videos I put them out. Talk to you all real soon again next time.